Howdy folks, Zapper here, aka Sean, and I'm bringing you turn 2 of Next War India-Pakistan. It has been a bit, probably about a month I think, I'm not quite sure. This will most likely be part 1 of turn 2, seeing as how turn 1, each part was about an hour long, and to me that seems like an awfully long time. So, I mean, most attention spans for stuff like this are not going to be greater than an hour. I know I like, 30 minutes, between 30 minutes and an hour to me seems like a pretty decent spot for somebody that wants to watch it. Of course, the people that are going to watch it, they're going to watch it anyway, right? But, so yeah, this is turn 2. Can't remember exactly where I left off at the end of turn 1. So, like, for example, with the reinforcements and replacements and all that kind of stuff. So I'm just going to assume that we are starting with turn 2, starting with the weather phase. So that is basically the first step. So I rolled for weather. The weather is clear again. Oh, you know what I did not do? I know I didn't do the VPs, so I'll have to go back and do that. And so I'll get back. I'll check that out, but because that determines that's going to make the difference on if it's an initiative turn again for India. So anyway, weather was clear. Let's see. You know what? I need to find out about that initiative phase thing, so I'll be back in a second. All right, so I had to look it up real quick. So the initiative VPs for this scenario are 20. So that means if the difference between one side and the other is greater than a 20 VP spread, then the side that has the most VPs will get initiative. So India scored 14 and Pakistan scored 4 VPs. So that's only a difference of 10. So this will be a contested turn. So basically, a contested turn, there'll be a few less phases, right? There'll only be, let me see, let's look over here. Can we see that? So we will do basic movement in combat. There will not be an initiative move in combat phase. So we will only have a basic move in combat phase. So basically you're not going to have as much to do because the momentum is now kind of swung away from the favor of whoever had the initiative before. So, all right, so initiative's been determined. I did do random events. That is a supplement 1 thing. So the Islamic Republic of Pakistan rolled helicopter part shortage, which basically means you have to, and it's a friendly shortage, so you rotate one of your helicopter units. I think it was 90 degrees. It might have been, I think it was 90 degrees. Basically, you're using one of your helicopters. Well, Pakistan no longer has helicopters because they were all destroyed, so that really didn't affect them. And these random events can favor you or they can go against you. That one happened to go against Pakistan, but it didn't hurt them because they had no helicopters. And then India rolled a logistic snarl, which basically means you put an out of supply counter on an enemy headquarters, and I chose to put an out of supply marker on this headquarters right here, hopefully in preparation of being able to do something. Although India doesn't really have enough forces right here, but making that headquarters out of supply is going to definitely help. And that counter cannot be removed during the first supply phase, so that will be on there for a little bit, which is funny because they are in an urban area, and urban areas are considered supply sources. So maybe there's a humongous traffic jam, which is 100% possible in this area of the world. I don't, I've never visited myself, but, just seeing some some stuff on TV and on videos and everything, the population densities in these areas are just, it's crazy. So anyway, random events and initiative are done. Electronic detection phase. Each side gets 3 attempts. And I also decided to use cyber warfare. So India was using their cyber warfare to increase their chances to detect, and then Pakistan was going to use their cyber warfare to decrease India's chances. India was successful, Pakistan was not. So you can kind of see here that the Pakistani, I don't remember what the roll was, but the roll failed and this cyber warfare marker is eliminated. It's kind of like special forces markers. And then the Indians will give themselves a -2 to detection attempts, and they also have the AWACS advantage. So Pakistan successfully detected, what is that? That looks like the 11th Corps headquarters. So that was successful on Pakistan. The other 2 were not successful. And then India was successful on all 3 attempts, partly due to their cyber warfare. So we detected this. Let me see. That is the 2nd Corps. And then we detected this guy that's out of supply. That is the 4th Corps. Hopefully I'll be able to get this guy with an airstrike or 2. And then we also detected the 1st Corps headquarters right here. So this is going to be a little bit of a jumble for a while. So hopefully by taking out, potentially being able to take out some of these headquarters, or at least weaken them, hopefully that's what's going to happen. So the detection phase is over. Now we will go into the first special operations phase and see what happens from there. Okay, so I kind of misspoke. I did the electronic detection phase, and then I was like, okay, we need to do the first special operations forces phase, which you only do that on an initiative turn, so that didn't happen. So we went right into the air naval phase. I used cyber warfare in this phase. So basically, if I was successful, I would have a couple of different options. So the Indians wanted to, if the cyber attack is successful, all air superiority air-to-air engagements are set. The attacking player may rearrange 3 of them, including breaking an engagement and avoiding combat. So that's what I was going to use. But the Pakistanis decided to do counter cyber warfare, which basically did affect the outcome. So the Indians' cyber warfare was unsuccessful because of the counter cyber from the Pakistanis, and then both cyber warfare counters were eliminated. So the Indian Air Force did not get to use that advantage from cyber warfare. Doesn't really matter. The Indians threw in 5 aircraft. The Pakistanis only have 3, so they weren't even going to throw any in there. So the Indians have to use at least 5 to get the 5-to-1 odds. So there's a notional 1 marker in here, so it's 5-to-1 odds. So the AWACS advantage went up by 1 more, so it's now maxed for the Indians. So that's probably going to be the state of the game the whole time, because the Pakistani Air Force just isn't, they don't really have enough of a presence to make a difference as far as air superiority goes. So the next is the second special operations forces phase. It is a contested turn, so both players get to place special forces. The Pakistanis don't have any. They were all eliminated in turn 1. The Indians have 2. And you can see 1 here, and then you can see 1 over here. So we're going to try to target this detected headquarters, and we're also going to do the same thing over here. All right, what do I need to roll? So it looks like I need to roll a 4 or lower. So we'll go ahead and put you here. So we're going to use the red and the blue die. Red will be right, so this is the right unit, and that is the left unit. So we need to roll a 4 or low. So it looks like we got 2 zeros, so both of these have been successfully targeted. Where is... Here we go. Actually, there's one right here. All right, so this stack of stuff is getting higher on that headquarters. So each one of those gets a -1 to targeting, which is a good thing. And then now let's see if they survive. It looks like I roll a 7 or higher. And both of those survive. So now they go to the used box, so that is done. Then we will go ahead and do the first strike phase. So once I get all that set up, I will be back. All right, now it's time for the first strike phase. First thing is nuclear weapons. Neither side's going to use those. Next thing is missile and cruise missile. Let's see here. Neither side has cruise missiles. Pakistan has 1 ballistic missile left. They're not going to use it yet. India has 12. They're going to use 5 of them. They're going to use 3 on that headquarters, and they're going to use 2 on this headquarters over here. So we'll roll these 3. That is a headquarters that is targeted in urban. So it looks like I need to roll a 5 or less -1, so that's going to make it a 6 or less. And I think non-US cruise missile, no. Yeah, so I need to roll a 6 or less. So we'll just roll 3 dice here. And it looks like 2 of those hit, so that is a 3 and a 4, or actually that is a 2 and a 3. 2 and a 3, that is a strike 1 and a strike 1. So that is a strike 2. And the stack on that poor little headquarters keeps getting higher. That's one of the things, right? Like, love this game, but sometimes there are points, like there is a stacking limit, right? So they did make it to where you can't, like, you can only have a maximum number of units in a hex. However, once you start getting status effects on some of these things, the stacks can get pretty high. Just imagine if I had, you know, a couple of infantry units in there or whatever. It can get ridiculous, and then especially in next war Korea, where you're going to have all of the surrounding hexes with units in it, so it can get pretty ridiculous. And can you see that one? Yeah, we can see that. So we'll roll those 2 dice. That is a 5. The 9 is a miss, so I think a 5. Yep. So that is a strike 1. So strike 1 goes there. We'll remove those 2. That was 5 missiles that India used. So we now go from 12 to 7 missiles. Let me look real quick. Strike 2 on a headquarters. I'm gonna say, so those are individual strikes. I'm gonna have to look that up. So a strike 1 reduces the capability by 1, and then the second strike 1 reduces the capability by 2. I think the out of supply did that anyway. So I'll just put that big mess back on top. This guy over here is definitely rotated 1. And now what we will do is we will now, let's see, non-allied allocates airstrikes, helicopter strikes, and escorts. The Pakistanis, we only have, well, I say we. The Pakistanis only have 3 aircraft. This guy's pretty much not going to do anything. It's not really worth it. That's just giving victory points to the enemy if I send him up into the air. These guys, I might, being that there's only 2 of them, and I mean the Indians don't have their greatest air superiority stuff here, but still, I think I might hold off. We'll see what develops, right? We'll see what develops over time. So the non-allied, they're not going to do anything. Allies allocate wild weasels, airstrikes, and helicopter strikes. All right. So India is definitely going to send some aircraft after this guy and after this guy over here. Well, we really want that headquarters. So we will go ahead and do that. We'll send some big guns in there. Got the good, have a good strike rating. That's a strike rating of 5. And then I think we will probably do, yeah, we'll send in our other. We'll send in the other Su-30s, so we're sending in the really good stuff. I probably ought to send some guys over here. Well, let's take a look over here. We'll look and let's see what's going on in the Kashmir Valley. Let's make sure that I can see that. Barely. So we'll move you up a little bit. There we go. These guys are out of supply. There's no headquarters in there. Where's the headquarters? Is right there. If there was a headquarters here, he's considered detected because he's adjacent to an enemy. But the headquarters is right here, so I can't. He's not detected. That combat outpost is right there, I'm assuming. I do believe there's a headquarters there, so he's detected because he's adjacent. Do I want to send some guys in there to hit that one? I think I'll hold off. I'm going to save some of my air assets because this right here, honestly, is that a headquarters? Yep. I don't think this needs to be a focus yet. We'll wait to see what develops over here on the main part of in the main battle space. This stuff over in that direction, that I believe is north. Yeah, that's basically north. The northern area of the battlefield at the moment, I don't think is my big focus, right? Even though everything north of Hex 33, which is basically everything that way, is worth double victory points. So towns, cities, all that stuff is worth double. I don't think my focus needs to be there yet as the Indians. Let's see here. What do we got? So we have allocated, and now we have to detect non-allied attempts detection of wild weasel. Then okay, allied resolve wild weasels. Don't have wild weasels. Non-allied attempts detection of all other allied strikes. Then may attack those that early detects with interceptors. They have no interceptors. We can still try to detect them for AAA and SAM. So it's a detection of 4. Yeah, and that will be that will not be local. That will be on the detection track, because these are headquarters, and headquarters are considered to have, you know, all these radar assets and all that. So, yep, detection level of 4. So we need to roll a 4 or lower. So we will start here first. That is not detected. And this, I don't know if you can see those. These guys over here, they are detected. That is a 2. So they are just detected. They are not early detected. So had they been early detected, I would be able to attempt interception. There are no interceptors, so no big deal. Let me see. That is, so these are standoff. So I think the only thing I can do, mission may be attacked by SAMs. So let's try to hit these guys with SAM. SAM is 3. Where is advanced air defense fire? So I will attack each plane separately. SAM is 3. So red will be the right plane. So let's see here. So 9 is obviously a miss. So the red or the plane on the right, that's a 4. Looks like a +1. Actually, looks like I get a -1 because that's a headquarters. So that is now a 3. So it looks like that's still a +1. So this plane here, so that is this one, he gets a +1 modifier to his attack roll, or his strike roll. Alright, so next, so we're doing the advanced strike table. That is flat. Let's see if there's anything else in there. Nope, he's in a bad spot right there. Strike rating of that aircraft is a 5. Alright, so we get a +1. I don't think we used the pilot skill on that. He is targeted, I believe, right? Yep, so that -1 and that +1 will cancel each other out. I don't think, does the pilot skill? The pilot skill shows as a DRM, so I think I get a -1 out of that. Yep, so we're going to get a -1. So that's a -1 overall, and this will be a -2 overall. So again, red die will be the right plane. That's a good one. So that's a -1, and of course that 9 is a complete whiff. So that's a -1, and that is an X. Installation is destroyed. Unit loses a step. All right, so that. All right, so you lose a step. I don't know if that strike stays or not. I'm going to assume that it stays. All right, now these guys, they will fly back into the flown box. And now we will rinse and repeat here. Oh, I should have put, those are my good pilots too on that one. That can go. So that's done. So we will get, I think there's a detection or a targeting, yep, -1. So each one of these will get a -1 DRM. There's no pilot skill involved in that one because they have, right there, they have zeros. That's their pilot skill. So -1. And that looks like a 6, and that's a 0. So we'll go ahead and do that, and we will do that. I don't think the 6 is anything. But wait a minute, that is, hold on, that's different. That's an urban, so that changes. So what do we got? The 6 is nothing. And that's a 0. So the 0 is a strike 1. If you add a strike 1 to a strike 2, I believe that is, I think that turns into a step loss. The strike marker is removed. And that guy takes a step loss. Well, that stinks that we were not able to take that headquarters out. We got pretty dang close. We threw a lot of resources at it, a bunch of ballistic missiles and a bunch of airstrikes. I think that's all I wanted to do. Both sides alternate non-allied force, allocating and resolving headquarters and artillery strikes. All right, let's look real quick. I don't know. I don't think there's any artillery on the Pakistani side. I think it's all been... I've found that headquarters strikes are not really that great, and these are non-allied too, so they're not even... I do have Indian artillery, but none of that's really in place yet. Let's look. What's here? Oh, there's some artillery. You have a range. You don't have a good enough range. That's only a range of 2, so that's not gonna. It's not gonna matter. All right, I do have some artillery in the Kashmir Valley. So let's move you over here. So I've got, what's the range on that? So that is 1, 2. So you can actually hit. That was there. I think I will do 1 artillery strike. Let's see, what do we got? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Because the chances are, let's look. An artillery strike. That's in the mountains. The best I can do is a strike one marker. I'm not really going to be able to follow that up with any kind of meaningful attack because and there's fortifications in there at the town. I'm not going to be able to follow that up with any kind of meaningful attack. So I will not do that. All right, what else do we have left? First supply phase. Remove out of supply marks from units that are no longer out of supply. Right here, that's 6 movement points. I believe that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So these guys will be in supply. Let me just double check that terrain. So that is secondary road? Yep, that's secondary road here. So even in the mountains, it's 1. So that would be 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, so those guys are in supply. Which one? I think it was this guy here. He stays out of supply until the second supply phase. Who else was out of supply? Right here. Let's see if he's still in supply. Where is... This guy is probably way too far out. That would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's primary road, so it's a half. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. You are out of supply that direction. Now we've got this one, so that is 1, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, 4.5, 5.5, 6.5, 7.5. Yeah, so you are still out of supply. I think that's it. I think those are the only units. Yep, that's it. First supply phase is over. I could probably attempt to try to do some resupply. How many supply points do I have? I have plenty. I do have plenty to attempt emergency resupply. Emergency resupply. If I roll a 2 or less, I can supply that headquarters, which will in turn supply all of those guys, because these guys are considered out of supply too. Alright, emergency resupply. How many supply points does that cost? That is section 19.6. Emergency resupply. 3 supply points. I don't understand why that doesn't say that on the card. I will do that. I'll spend 3 supply points. So that will reduce India's supply from 39 to 36. I need to roll a 2 or less. Let's see if that happens. Nope. That is such a hard roll to make. I've only tried that a few times. Now, if I wanted to just supply an individual ground unit, I'd have to roll a 5 or less, but that would cost a heck of a lot more supply points. So, I believe that's 3 per. There's quite a few units there. That would have been 12. Yeah, that'd have been 12 points. Oh, that's an armor unit. That'd have been good. But those are all out of supply. Why don't we just do that to make it to where... Alright, so those are all out of supply. That's done. First supply, initiative, movement, combat. There is none. Basic, movement, and combat. Alright, I'll be back in a little bit once I get all that done. Alright, I've just conducted the movement segment for the first player, or the initiative player, but it's a first player in this case. So the artillery, I think I had both of them here, so I don't know. Anyway, oh, one thing that I did do wrong, and I'm not going to go back and undo it, but the airstrikes on these 2 headquarters, I used the wrong value. So the first number is the air-to-air, which on, if we look on the SU-30 is a 5. I use that as the strike value. It's actually the, I think it's the last number. Let me double check that. Yeah, it's the last number. So it would have been a value of 2 instead of the value of 5. So chances are these guys wouldn't be in the situation that they're in right now had I used the right value. But I'm not going to go back and undo that. So it is what it is, right? Fog of war, right? Like lucky things happen even in war. So the Indians got, the Indian Air Force got lucky due to a clerical error on my part. So those kind of things can happen. So anyway, we had 2 artillery brigades. One moved up here, one moved up here. We had a little bit of movement going on here. We had a couple of units moved into that town, the town of Kasur. We put a clearing marker on them, so there. We had some movement here. We got these guys across the canal so they can get a better attack rating. This guy moved forward into here. This is gonna, I was thinking about attacking here. This is gonna be just a nightmare because that's a 13 defense. Attacking across canals, it's terrible. We'll conduct an attack here. We'll conduct an attack here. This, I was thinking about that, but he has got 14. But then you have a city. You have a city, an installation, and fortifications. That's, I think the fortifications are 2 column shifts. The city is 2 column shifts. It's ridiculous. So I'm like, you know what? I'm not even going to worry about that yet until I can possibly get more units surrounding that. So I'll hit that headquarters, that lone little headquarters that's out there. Up here, I moved that headquarters here so that they will get a chance to get back into supply. There was no second supply phase because that's an initiative turn thing, so he moved here. I didn't really do anything in the Kashmir Valley just because that I don't really see at the moment being able to accomplish much there other than just throwing units at each other and just burning guys out. So let's see here. So this attack here, I'm going to attack from here and here. I throw in some air support. They get the 2 value, which I think it's the middle number, so that's the combat support. So those will be DRMs. So it looks like it will be 18 to 14. I don't think I used the headquarters because that would have made it 20 to 14. Doesn't make a difference. Because I'm still getting the DRM for the remainder. So with the 2 and the 2, that's a -4 plus the remainder as a -5 DRM on the 18 to 14, which turns out to be 1-to-1 odds. 1-to-1 odds. That looks like it's flat. Oh, and there's a town there. So the town is a +1. So guess what? That makes it a -4 DRM. -4 flat, 1 to 1. Couldn't quite get a. Ooh, no, but that if I threw the headquarters in there, that would make it 20 to 14. I cannot get. Yeah, I can't get 1.5 to 1. So that is 1 to 1 odds flat. Let's roll it. Let's see what happens. Can we see the dice tray? Yeah. That's a 9 minus 4 is a 5 in 1 to 1. What did I say? 4? No, 5. So it looks like 1 and 1. 1 loss per side. I think this guy here is the lead unit because he has an efficiency rating of 6. They always flip so easy, that one side. And we'll take it from that small one. Definitely a better move. Well, that didn't quite work out the way I wanted it to. Planes go to the flown box. They did not get detected. I had already pre-rolled that, so they did not get detected. And then we see that guy right there. Yeah, we can see both of those. That is going to, looks like to be 29 to 20, which is 1 to 1. We threw in artillery brigade support, which is -1 column shift. The efficiency rating is better by 1, so that's a column shift. So it looks like it's a 1 to 1. That looks like it's flat. Yeah, 1 to 1 flat. Uh-oh. Hold up. That's all infantry. I think I get the armor bonus on that. So let me rethink that. That will be... That's all infantry in there. I think the armor bonus, armor advantage in a non-fortified... Strength times 2. Am I looking at that right? It's non-armor, non-mechanized. That is plain leg infantry. So I actually get a bonus. So that is 12. That is, what's that, 36. So that's 48. 53. That changes a lot. That's 53. That's 53 to 20. So 53 to 20. It looks like 2 to 1. There is no 2.5 to 1. No. So that's 2 to 1 with 2 column shifts. I think the Pakistanis will throw in, this changes things a little bit. The Pakistanis will throw in an air unit. Let's see if it gets detected. It does not get detected. So that's a DRM of +2. Did the Indians want to throw in? They could, well, hold up. They didn't get detected, so I don't get to do interceptors. Yeah, I think that the Indians will 5. I don't think that's a detection. No. That is not a detection. So those 2 planes will cancel each other out. So there's no DRM. So 2 to 1. That's flat. All right. Can we see? Yeah, we can see that. Well, that's 2 to 1 in flat. With a 2 column shift. So that basically essentially makes it 4 to 1 with a 3 because there was no DRMs. That is 1, 2 losses, and a retreat. So each side takes a loss. We'll take one from here. Looks like each one of those will take a loss. And then, what is the retreat? They retreat 2 hexes. All right, these guys they're out of there. So they have to retreat 2 hexes. Where do we want to go? Well, I think we'll go 1. You know what? It's probably better to go across those canals because those provide better. Yeah, we'll go. One, 2. All right, and then this guy will move in there. Let me go ahead and do this. So I've been putting this here to show that that fortification has basically been neutralized. No victory points, but now, next turn, I might end up seeing what we can do with this guy, getting that guy out of there. So that looks good. And then it will be here to here on that lonely headquarters. That's 8-2. I think that the Pakistanis will launch that fighter to protect that headquarters. I definitely don't want him to lose a headquarters. Ooh, he was detected. Let's throw some really good interceptors in there. We will try to intercept with both of those. Actually, we can intercept. So, what's the combat differential? Oh, it looks like the Indians are. He's got standoff too. He gets a free shot. Oh, hold up. Let's reevaluate that. We'll do this. There we go. All right, so blue will be India, red will be Pakistan. Blue is India, and it is a +1 differential on a 1. Damaged, aborted. So this guy's damaged, aborted. And then Pakistan on the -1. That's a no result, so this guy's damaged and aborted. That's not good for... See, that's why I was so reluctant with Pakistani Air Force, because they're just not that good. All right, so that doesn't happen. So we're going to call that good. So that's 4-1 odds in flat. Is there anything else in there? No. 4-1 odds, flat 7. 4-1. That is a 1 and 2, but it is red text. Four to 1. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's 1 and 2. It's red text, so that means if the guy can't satisfy the requirements, then the attacker doesn't have to do anything. He can take 2-step losses, which basically eliminates that headquarters. So yeah, I'm going to say that that is... And then boom, that guy's out of there. Ooh, that's a headquarters gone. That is headquarters of 3 victory points. All right, and now I think we have to move in there, which that, I'm not really a big fan of that. Well, that will be, that's cleared. Do I move both of those guys in there? Yeah, unfortunately. I hate to do... Oh, that's terrible. If I move 1 in there... That's an armor unit too. I don't want to lose him, but we will do that. I really don't want to do that because that guy's going to get taken out, but I don't want them getting surrounded either. If I move both of them in there, then these guys could reposition and basically isolate this guy, and I don't want to do that. I think that's it for the Indian player. Now we will go to the Pakistani player. I've just conducted the reaction movement. So that is the Pakistani turn. All right, what did we do here? We moved these two units. We moved them around. Try to take advantage of this right here. Kind of left him here. They're attacking across the canal, so they stand a pretty good chance of being able to defend that spot. And then over here, I moved this guy out of there. I mean, that's just giving up away victory points, right? Yeah, I gave up that town, but if the Indians move in, or that city, the Indians move in, they're going to be stuck under a clearing marker for a while. So left that, or moved that guy out of the way. I think I did a little bit of repositioning right here to kind of hopefully take advantage of that. Not much. I didn't do any movement over in the Kashmir side of the house, so again, that's really not the exciting part. I think I have two combats. So we've got the one that you can see right here. So doing a Mirage support did not get detected. So that it's 9-to-1 odds with a +3 DRM. Remember, in this game, pluses are bad, right? You don't want pluses. So what did I say? 9-to-1, 18-to-2. That's 9-to-1. That looks flat. Is there a town in there? No. 9-to-1 flat. That's not good at all. So that's maxed out. Oh, so that is looks like a 3. So that is 2 step losses. So he's gone. Only needed to take 1 step loss for that. That is a brigade. That is the first ground forces loss for the Indians. That's a brigade. +1 for the for the Pakistanis. +1 VP, that is. And then over here, looks like 26-to-14, which turns into a 1.5-to-1 with a remainder. So, and I threw 2 aircraft in there. So the remainder, so the aircraft give you a +4, the remainder gives you a -1, so that's a +3 overall by the looks of it. +3. Those aircraft also did not get detected. So that's an 11. That's awful. So 1.5-to-1 at the max end of the 1.5-to-1. That's flat, right? That's flat. Oh yeah, I also threw the headquarters support in there, which turned it was 12. So 12 into 26 would have been 2-to-1 with the remainder, but that extra 2 from the headquarters turned it to 14, which made it the 1.5-to-1. So 1.5-to-1 flat, and that ends up being an 11. Man, the attackers take 2 losses. That was costly. I think it was this guy right here. It was the lead unit. Yeah. Yep, and then I'll take the other hit from that guy. That was a big, big military failure. That will be written about in history books. And yeah, that's actually a little bit surprising that happened like that. All right, so I thought I was going to have 2 parts to this, but it looks like I'm only going to have 1 because that was reaction combat. Now we go to reorg, reinforcement, and victory because it's a contested turn. It really, the turn is much, much quicker because you don't have 2 combat phases, you don't have 2 strike phases, you don't have 2 supply phases. So yeah, reorg, reinforcement, replacements, and victory, and that's it. So let's look real quick. I'm not going to go over all of that, but what we will look at real quick, let's see here. Let's see, what can we see? All right, we got this clear area. Turn 2. Let's see here. I'll go ahead and do this off camera, and then I'll show you what the sides get as far as reinforcements. All right, so where was that guy? I think that guy was there. Doesn't matter. Not important. The leg of my tripod moved to counter out of the way. It was an artillery brigade, by the way, which those guys kind of are important. So here's the replacements. So Pakistan gets 3 aircraft. I had to... Didn't matter for these two because there was only one JF-17. Both Mirages were the same as far as pilot rating goes. And the F-7 I did roll randomly and got the worst pilot of all. So he gets those 3 aircraft. They got some missile points, I believe 5 missile points, and they've got 3 additional replacement points for Pakistan. India gets the 1st Corps, basically. So they got the 1st Corps headquarters and all 3 of those units. These do have a starting hex. I don't know if it's the one printed on there. I think it is the one printed on there. Yeah, so it's 22. Yep, so it's the hex that's printed on there. So we'll go ahead and do that. Oh, you know what we got to do? We have to do clearing. We'll do that on camera. The rest of the stuff doesn't really matter. Let's see. Well, we got one of the worst clearing markers that you can get. 6 is the worst, but that one's not that much better. Clearing operations. Where is that? That is, oh, that's a city, so that's awful. Maximum safe stacking, or minimum safe stacking points of 3. Do we meet that? I think we do. Yeah, there's 4 stacking points there. There's no installations or anything in there. No, it's just a plain old city. No. Stack includes leg plus armor and or mechanized infantry. So we do have leg and we do have only leg. So we don't get a bonus for that. Difference between efficiency rating and the clearing number. All right. So I think that is a... There's no difference in the stacking points. I think I need to roll under this. No, I need to roll over because the lower numbers are better. So I need to roll over. So that means my ER and clearing number differential is a +1 to the die roll. So I need to roll a 4 or higher. I think, right? Oh, let me look this up. The player aid could use a little bit extra information on there, but it does not. Clearing 8.4. The roll is equal to or greater than the clearing number. So I get a +1 to the die roll because my efficiency rating is higher than the number on that. So, and I successfully cleared that, which is good. So that goes to me, and I capture an enemy controlled city, so that is +2. 4, 5. All right. So that takes care of all that. So everything else is basically admin. So that was turn 2 in the books. Stay tuned. Hopefully I won't have a month between the next time I do this, but yeah, it is what it is, right? So anyway, thanks for watching, and I wish everybody the best out there.